Photos with disturbing backstories. Um, is it muted? Okay, no. Stupid. I guess this, I mean, hey. By the way, this is an interesting way to start a video. First 10 seconds. They say, like, hey, the first 10 seconds is the most important, to get people to watch. Which is very true, because most people leave videos in the first 10 seconds. I don't know why you'd put your Patreon thing at the beginning, but at the same time, it's like, dude, if you're a Patreon member, you want to be honored. So, I respect this guy a lot. He's sacrificing his watch time for his Patreon members. Is there just no audio? Oh, no, there is. I don't know, this image looks really disturbing
Living
already.
in Monument, Colorado was a 13-year-old boy named Dylan Redwine who lived with his mother Elaine and brother Corey. Dylan was one of the many unfortunate children who had to experience his parents separating at a young age. He regularly went on court-ordered visits with his father, Mark Redwine, who resided in the rugged and mountainous landscape of La Plata County, nestled in the southwestern area of Colorado. And you may assume that a son would rejoice whenever he gets the chance.
What was the image in the very beginning? What the... Wait, oh yeah. No, whatever that image is, by the way, very creepy. Let me find it. This looks very disturbing. This was also the thumbnail of the video, and so I'm assuming this is going to be very bad. I just, something about this. He looks like he's beaten up to a pulp. Or something. Well, not really at all. I just completely misused my words. But he does look like he's on something, maybe beaten up, I don't know. I can't tell you.
The case with Dylan. Dylan found little to no joy in spending time with his father and had intentionally avoided these encounters for several months. The root cause
See, that must suck. I'm assuming it's because his father sucks.
this can be traced back to a distressing incident that occurred at his father's house the previous year. In the summer of 2011, specifically in June, Dylan, accompanied by his older brother Corey, visited his father's home. While the brothers were using their father's laptop, they inadvertently stumbled upon some very disturbing images. At the time, Mark was asleep, so the brothers took the laptop and ran to the bathroom and locked themselves in. Displayed on the screen were images of their father Mark clad in a wig and women's lingerie.
Oh, I feel like I've heard this story, by the way. Okay, oh. I mean, it's weird, but I don't think there's anything wrong with this. I think the problem with this is why his eyes, like, completely shut and he looks like that. I don't know. What was the original photo of the man? This? How do you go from this to that? Like, excuse me? Are we gonna... Well, okay, I should probably stop pausing. Where is the... Okay, bro. I can't even find where I was. Excuse me.
Very disturbing
Dude's on crack? Yeah,
images.
100% probably.
At the time, Mark was asleep, so the brothers took the laptop and ran to the bathroom and locked themselves in. Displayed on the screen were images of their father Mark clad in a wig and women's lingerie, cradling what seemed to be a soiled diaper. The brothers went through all of the images, and that's when they realized something. Their father...
Why is it blurred? Oh, no. Oh, it's the story. Oh, I think I've heard the story where he eats poop. Or something, maybe. I'm pretty sure. Okay.
appeared to be consuming the contents of the diaper. Corey brought out his phone and took pictures of these unsettling images, marking a turning point in how Dylan perceived his father. So over the following year, Dylan distanced himself, becoming more withdrawn and fighting with the decision to confront his father about this discovery.
I mean, well, here's the thing. If you confront, then he's just gonna be like, why are you looking through my laptop? To be fair, okay, first off, does your laptop just have no password or something? Because there's no way that... If you have this stuff on your, like, any device, you would not just, like, make it super easy to get. Like, if a kid can get into it, you got a problem. It's called, you don't know how to, like, hide your stuff or something. To be fair, you shouldn't have anything on your devices, to be clear, to hide. I don't have anything on my computer I'd hide, personally. Besides maybe, like, a couple of embarrassing, like, videos or something. I don't know.
On November 19th, 2012, a court mandate made Dylan visit his father for Thanksgiving. Dylan's mother, Elaine,
Ooh.
didn't really want to send him off though, since she recognized he changed in his behavior. He was showing obvious signs of distress and discomfort. For what reason though, she had no idea. In the end, Dylan agreed, but before he went off, he went to his brother Corey and gave—
Wait, how young was this? This kid saw this at the age of like 9? Oh my god, yeah, that's over. It's over, bro. Imagine, because I think back when I was 9, bro, there was no way I'd be able to handle that. Like, oh my god. Oh my god. Bro definitely messages minors. I sense it. I don't know. Oh,
him
maybe.
a request. Dylan asked him to send over those images that they took from their father's laptop. Dylan was mustering up the courage and confidence to ask his father about these images and hopefully share the information with his brother Corey when he got back. However, Corey would never get to see his brother ever again. On November
Oh no.
18th, 2012, Mark Redwine picked up his son from the airport. Surveillance footage at both the airport and a local Walmart in Durango showed little interaction between the father and son. Apparently, Dylan asked his father if he could spend the night with a friend upon arrival, but Mark insisted otherwise and they both spent the evening at Mark's residence. Through text messages, Dylan organized a visit to his friend's house at around 6:30 a.m. the following morning, with his last known communication on his phone
6:30 a.m. Okay, some people be desperate to. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Maybe this guy's like, I need to get out of the house.
occurring at 9:37 p.m. the previous night. When Dylan's friend texted him at around 6:46 a.m. on November 19th asking about where he was, there was no response. On the night of November 19th, 2012, Mark reported that his 13-year-old son, Dylan, was missing. News of Dylan's disappearance spread
Wait, so this is
fast,
what he
leading
looks like, by the way? This is the father? Dude, this father looks different every time I see an image of him. This is so weird. I don't get it.
to a large search and rescue operation. After Dylan went missing, his dad acted in a way that seems strange for a parent whose child is lost. Mark stayed home and he didn't even try to find Dylan. When media went to interview him, he seemed rather withdrawn. Months were invested into the search effort, but
I mean, to be fair, with the whole withdrawal thing with the media, I have to say it. Let's be honest. If I was in a situation where the media is knocking on my door because someone went missing that I know, it's like, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, I'm gonna talk to the media. No, I'm gonna be like, yeah, bye. Like, I'm not defending him because it's very obvious he probably did it. I mean, this is where the story's obviously going, but, you know, it's just one of those situations. Like, dude, people act like, oh, if the media's at your house, you need to speak to them. Like, no, 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 no.
to the rough terrain and high elevation of Durango, little success was made. Despite numerous efforts to locate him, Dylan remained missing and no new information came in about his whereabouts. On January 31st, 2013, Mark participated in an exclusive interview blaming himself for his son's disappearance. According to Mark, Dylan was asleep when he woke up that morning, and upon returning from running some errands, he discovered that his son was missing. Now, the public initially sympathized with the father, not knowing any better, but the
Okay,
public
so
will
it's
soon
gonna
learn
go bad.
how undeserving Mark was of this sympathy. On June 26, 2013, the case would make new headlines, but not for the reasons people were hoping for. Human remains, including a segment of Dylan's shirt and a sock, were unearthed in a secluded location on Middle Mountain, roughly 8 miles from Mark's home.
8
Following
miles in a
some testing,
mountains?
it was determined
Bro.
that the recovered remains were indeed those of the missing Dylan Redwine. When the search parties were informed about the location in which Dylan was found, they were taken aback as that particular area was very difficult to get to. It was tough to believe that a child who was unfamiliar with the area was able to find their way to it. This prompted the suspicion that foul play was involved.
Oh yeah, obviously it's foul
Mark
play, come on.
Redwine subsequently became a person of interest, and the cause of his son's death was officially labeled as
How out of mind do you have to be to do this to your own kid, bro? I don't know. I don't. Well, see, the problem is we don't even have the full story. My guess of what happened is that the kid, you know, she's like, "Hey, I know about the pictures," and he's like, "Oh, please, don't do anything about that." And he just wanted to get rid of like any evidence. My thing is, why save these pictures on your thing, if your device? Like, I think that's the problem here, really. Even if that's not even the case, let's just say that's not even the case. That doesn't even happen, right? The fact he has those photos on his thing is weird because, like, are you just looking at them often or something? Like, bro, because I don't know. It's like, why keep them? Oh yeah, I just want to store in this so I can look back in the good old days when I used to be weird. Like I don't know. There's not even a good reason to save those at all.
Undetermined. Investigators uncovered traces of Dylan's blood in various parts of Mark's home, including the laundry room, living room, and kitchen. However, Mark vehemently denied any connection to his son's death. Only on November 1st, 2015, a full 2 years later, was Dylan's skull located. Autopsy findings indicated that the cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head. Nearly 2 years following the grim discovery, on July 22nd, 2017, Mark was apprehended in Bellingham, Washington. He faced charges of second-degree murder and child abuse related to Dylan's death. Following multiple delays, Mark's trial commenced on June 14th.
Wait, what evidence do they give him though? That's the real question. What evidence do they have? I don't know.
2021. The defense argued that the minimal amount of blood discovered in Mark's kitchen was infinitesimally small and could have occurred in any household. Defense attorney John Moran went further, asserting that using dog-sniffing death scent techniques was deemed quote-unquote junk science. Despite the defense's effort.
Yeah, that defense sucks, bro. Okay, that defense is like probably the worst defense I've heard in the case. Like, how do you oh, there's blood in the kitchen, which I don't even know where that's coming from, but let's just, I'm assuming it's because there was, but like, oh, there's blood in the kitchen, that could happen in any house. Like, what? What kind of defense is that, bro? You live close to where he was arrested? Ooh.
To explain Dylan's death as an accident, proposing that he might have wandered off and met his end due to the elements or an animal attack, Mark was declared guilty on all charges on July 16th. The unsettling photos presented to the jury played a crucial role in the verdict. It was ruled that Mark Redwine killed his son in a fit of rage after being shown the images. He was sentenced to 48 years in prison on October 8th, 2021. Dylan's mother and brother were devastated, and Corey said the following: "It's been nothing short of misery over the years." Corey also often thinks about how he could have helped protect Dylan. He said, "I can't bring Dylan back. I can't talk to Dylan, so I pray to him. I dream of him. Dylan is my hero and became more of a man in 13 years than Mark became in 60.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of true he became a man. I mean, bro, admitted they saw images they should not have seen. Not gonna lie, I do not like this face. Kind of creepy. Why wouldn't you just admit at this point if you know you ain't gonna get away with it? Well, because, I don't know. Dude, I don't know my law stuff that well. I forgot. Isn't there a thing where it's like if you plead guilty, then you get more sentencing or something? I don't know. How does it work? I don't remember. I mean, I think the thing is like if you know you're guilty, but you plead not guilty, the whole goal is, hey, you know, the goal is that they, hopefully they don't actually sentence you to jail because you're found innocent. But like, that's what I'm assuming is like. But if it's obvious you're gonna, like, when you have defense like that guy, dude, it's like, why even bother? You should just cancel the trial, say, Judge, I'm going to jail, just send me to jail, please. I know that's not how that works, but, you know. Okay, this is the photo. This photo is weird. Looks like a ghost, borderline.
At approximately 9:30 p.m. on June 3rd, 1991, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, a trucker named Eduardo Collin decided to call it a night and checked into a Super 8 motel. The motel staff observed that Eduardo appeared to be alone, yet he requested a room suitable for 2 people. Eduardo paid in cash for a one-night stay and was instructed to check out by 11 a.m. the following morning. He nodded, smiled, and proceeded toward his room. Throughout his stay, there was no communication from Eduardo. However, a few days later, motel staff noticed that Eduardo hadn't checked out. Finding this unusual, they sent a security guard.
What do you mean a few days later? You don't keep track of this? That's bad business, I'm not gonna lie. You don't keep track of who's in your rooms? Like, excuse me? And this is why I hate motels. I will personally not plan on going into a motel because, well, first off, the amount of horror stories I've heard from motels specifically. I'm not saying hotels are like, oh, there's nothing bad that can happen. Motels? I don't know, something about it's a lot more sketchy. I don't know how to describe it. Just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the infamous story I've heard, which turned into a game, is like, oh, there was like drugs being sold in vending machines, and some it was used so that this guy could break into people's things while they're drugged and rape them. Okay, just enough. That's yeah.
to investigate why Eduardo hadn't left. Upon reaching the room, the guard saw a "Do Not Disturb" sign on the door. He knocked but received no response.
You'd rather sleep in your car in Walmart parking lot than a motel. Yeah. I don't know. I've never slept in. Okay, that would be a lie. I was gonna say I've never slept in a car. I mean, I've slept in a car on road trips, but that doesn't count. I've never slept like in a parking lot. I don't know how it'd be. Do you just like run the engine the whole time? Like if it's cold, do you just have the engine running? Because then it's like, dude, that's kind of expensive. You gotta pay for that like gasoline you're burning while you're sleeping, which I don't know if that's worth it. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know what people do, honestly. I'd imagine if you're sleeping in a car, you probably would prepare for that instead and just have blankets. I don't know.
To turn the knob, he found out that the door was locked. After some effort using a screwdriver, the guard gained entry, but he realized the room was completely empty. On the table, there were bottles of beer, cigarettes, and several other items that didn't initially raise any concern. The guard continued his investigation and made his way into the bathroom. There, he made a grim discovery.
Of course.
Secured to the shower head was the lifeless body of a woman. Despite clear signs of decay, medical investigators were certain that this unidentified woman had passed away on the very same day Eduardo checked into the motel. Additionally, traces of illicit substances were found in her body, and the image you're seeing on screen right now is the photo that was found on the room desk.
Yeah, this photo's, yeah, that's giving me goosebumps, bro.
The unsettling nature is the one detail most often remembered about
Can you please just, please, okay, yeah, you were just being annoying. Okay, it just goes back to it again, like, stop. Please.
For the most part, it would take a couple of years before police could locate him, or rather they would find his family. And it turned out that Eduardo had died, but here's the confusing part. Police pulled out that photograph from the motel and shared it with the family, but they stated that the man in the picture was not Eduardo. They also had no idea who the woman was. So if this man was not Eduardo,
I don't want to
who
look.
could it be?
The more I look at that image, just oh god, I'm just goosebumps. I don't like how she looks. Obviously, that photo makes no sense. Like, yeah, something's up. And also the whole, okay, apparently that was an Arwada or whatever his name was, Eduardo. I'd imagine he's probably just using a fake name. I mean, it's pretty easy. If you're checking out a motel, I'd imagine you don't have to give your ID to buy a room. Like, you could just say, "Oh, my name's this." If you're paying in cash too, like, yeah, there's really no real way to confirm your identity. So yeah, you could just lie. Oh wow, that's actually kind of smart. Okay, I say that like I'm gonna do something with the information. Let me tell you, government, I'm not going to do anything.
Investigators went back to look at all of the clues and evidence that they had, and there was one piece that may shed some light on the case. On that motel room table, there was a scale with the name George Martinez written on it. Investigators believe that the device was used primarily to organize illegal substances. This gave rise to theories suggesting that the female may have been a victim in a deal gone wrong. In an attempt to gather new information from the public about either people...
Wait, there's no way they solved this. They actually did, didn't they? Oh god, they sent the picture again.
Photo, the original version was altered. In this updated photograph, which is oddly enough even more unsettling,
yeah,
appears with a more neutral expression. Fast forward to
I think the thing about this images is her eyes, bro. They're so incredibly wide.
2021,
unsettling.
Police received a tip that suggested that the woman was named Becca and that she was originally from California.
Can we move
and to my knowledge, this possible identity was never heavily looked into and was thus never confirmed. As for the man, police still have zero idea who he is.
Well, wouldn't you just go off George Martinez? Come on. Ooh, oh, by the way, why would you put your name on a scale? That's a really silly thing. I don't know. That's worse, 100%. Yeah, I'm not surprised it's not solved. Like, how are they gonna solve this? I don't even know when this was, like, it was probably earlier. Oh god, that image is so unsettling.
And have yet to...
I just don't get why she's so, like, I hate saying this, but so white. Like, dude, look how white she is. It's crazy. Like, it's like, dude, just get some sun.
But there are now many people that suspect foul play.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. That is probably the worst image Okay, yeah, please. Okay. I don't
Andrew
that image, by the way, that messed me up, bro. Did not expect that at all. Okay, let's just move on from that, cause dude, these images are getting ridiculous. I'm not good with scary stuff, and also unsettling images. Oh my god. You know, when I was younger, bro, like when Momo was relevant, bro, when I was in 8th grade, I think, bro, that shook me for like probably months. Um, it really, really did. And then, even though I knew it was a chicken, like that was the worst part. I knew it was a chicken, but that face, God, that scared me for months. Now, obviously, that was 8th grade, bro. That was years ago. So not really relevant at all to me, the new me, I guess you could say, but yeah, it's somewhat relevant because I haven't really changed too much. See something unsettling like that, and I'm instantly disturbed. It's just unreal. Yeah, I don't know.
Macaulay was an Australian mountaineer and sea kayaker born on August 7th, 1968. Andrew was a very ambitious individual that strived for the toughest of goals set by himself. In fact, in 2003, Andrew made the first non-stop crossing of Bass Strait via kayak. The very next year, he kayaked across the Gulf of Carpentaria. 2 years after that, he
What?
led an expedition in the Australian Antarctic Territory where the group crossed over 800 kilometers. It was becoming
Dang,
clear
bro.
that Andrew was much too skilled for his own good. He needed that next challenge to really test himself. He set the goal of crossing the Tasman Sea in a standard one-man kayak without
Oh my God. Yeah, look at that distance. I mean, okay, it looks like a map. It's like, oh yeah, it's not that far. No, that's on. Where's my mouse? Please find my mouse. Where is it? Okay, it's right here. Okay, I suck at finding my mouse sometimes. And but seriously though, like this guy's can get, dude. Like this is one of those things where it's like, dude, how did people cross the sea back in the days? Because, dude, anything could go wrong. Like, all it takes is a little storm, and suddenly you don't know where you're going. You have no, in the modern day, you have no internet. It's not like you're gonna be like, all right, let me pull up my location on my map to figure out where I'm located. No, because there's no internet, bro. I don't even know how internet works, so I don't know if you can bring your own internet to with you or something. I highly doubt that's the case. I don't know. I have no idea how internet works. I'm blissfully ignorant, which is probably for the better, because I don't really need to know that stuff. They just went along the coast back in the day. Well, yeah, but like think about this when like for example, you hear about the Columbus expedition where it's like, hey, they traveled from Europe to, South America and then North America. It's like, dude, well, obviously that was accidental, but then they had kept making trips back and forth, right? It's like, how did you know where you were going? Like literally all it took is the wind to push you the wrong way and you're just like, "Whoa, I'm in a different land." I like it's so crazy that they could like accurately end up at the right place. Don't get it at all.
any outside help. Now, it should be stated that this has been done before, but those adventurers all had custom kayaks that were built for extreme conditions. If successful, the journey was well over 900 miles and would take over a month to complete. Not only was the challenge going to be long, but it was also going to put his mentality to the test as Andrew was going to have little to nothing to eat or drink. Andrew would set off for his attempt in December of 2006, but quit only a night later. The reason being that the kayak was freezing cold and Andrew had no way of preserving any heat in his kayak. Luckily, Andrew was able to get home safely, but this small hiccup was not going to keep him away from the sea for very long
I could
as he
never
would
do
return
this.
to it in January of the next year. This time around, Andrew was all ready to combat the extreme temperatures that he would face out at
Why? Oh, that's sunscreen probably. Never mind.
sea.
Makes
Andrew
sense.
would frequently contact his family via radio and let them know that he was doing great. He was about halfway done with the journey and it seemed like smooth sailing from there on out. However, things would take a turn for the worse very quickly. As Andrew was nearing the end, violent waves began to crash into his
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, bro. How do you kayak in these types of conditions? Like, you're dead. Yeah, I don't know why you're. You'd have to be like ridiculously stupid to do this. I mean, obviously he said it was possible, but those people are just lucky or something.
kayak, suddenly making the latter half of the trip significantly more difficult. This was not to mention the other conditions which have also worsened. And keep in mind, Andrew wanted to beat this challenge with a normal run-of-the-mill kayak. It was February 9th when Andrew made an emergency call saying, "Do you copy? This is Kayak 1. Do you copy? Over. I've got an emergency situation. I'm in a kayak about 30 kilometers from Milford Sound. I need a rescue. My kayak's sinking. Fell off into the sea and I'm going down.
Oh God. Oh God, that's like that. Just like picturing myself in that situation terrifies me. Being alone at the like in the middle of the ocean, you can't see underneath you. You have no clue what's under your feet, and there's literally no land nearby. Like, what are you supposed to do? You're dead. You're not making it to land unless the waves push you. You always hear like in Disney movies, like, "Oh wow, man, this guy like Moana, I think it was, where it's like, oh wow, I forgot who, but someone, I think it was, what's her name? The main character, Moana? Is that what her name? Okay, dude, I sound like an idiot. Yeah, it's Moana. Moana like passed out or something and got pushed to land. Like that's not gonna. I don't know. Is that gonna happen in real life? Probably not. I don't know. There's no way we just float like that. But who really knows? Bro's cooked 100%.
Rescue would not find Andrew until it was too late. In fact, they would never find Andrew at all, but what they did find was his kayak, bobbing in the sea about 30 nautical miles from the journey's endpoint.
Bro, he
This
was so
discovery
close.
was made on February 12th. I want to quickly mention that Andrew's kayak came with this fiberglass dome cover that was supposed to provide shelter for him. Now, whenever his kayak would flip over due to the way the dome was constructed, Andrew needed to exit the kayak and flip it over manually. It's believed that Andrew somehow lost this dome, ultimately leading to his demise. Andrew's remains were never located, but on the kayak were these photos that he took of himself in his final moments.
Damn. Oh, I feel like I know this one. I feel like I remember this story, because I feel like I remember one of these friends plotted to murder both of them or something. I see. I don't know the story fully, but I know one of these people killed someone in this friend group for a dumb reason, probably. I don't remember the full story.
In Star City, West Virginia, lived Skylar Neese, a 16-year-old girl with her parents David and Mary. During her childhood, Skylar had a best friend named Morgan Lawrence. In the earlier years of their friendship, the two were inseparable, but just like with most friendships from such a young age, it dwindled as the two grew older. Nevertheless, Morgan still saw Skylar as someone in her circle, almost like a family member. Another close friend of Skylar's was named Sheila Eddy. Together, the two girls started high school and met another girl named Rachel Schoaf. This group of girls went on to grow very close and hung out with each other whenever they could. Teachers and classmates did mention that the group tended to be rather rambunctious, and there were even rumors that they would use illegal substances and partake in underage drinking at parties.
Wow, how surprising. As if that doesn't happen all the time. Like, okay, well, God. Who cares? It's like, dude, that does that. Like, I would say, like, oh, that's so evil, but, like, who cares, bro? It happens to everyone. Not me, by the way. Not me. I'm the exception, bro. First off, I stay home a little too much. And second off, I'm good off those illegal substances. Cannot English today, apparently. Yeah, I'm good off that illegal stuff, because guess what? I have an addictive personality. That's the problem. So I know if I took a drug or I'd start drinking alcohol, even if I didn't like it, it's like, you always hear it's like, oh, but the dopamine hit you get, it's what you chase. And dopamine's a big part of my life already, so I don't need more problems.
July 6th, 2012, Skylar went to a local Wendy's where she worked. This particular shift took place well into the night, so she didn't return home until very late. But when she did, she immediately went to her room and went to sleep. The next day, Skylar's dad, David, knocked on Skylar's bedroom door but received no response. In fact, the door had been locked. David was able to eventually get past the door with the use of a coat hanger, but to his shock, Skylar was nowhere to be found. He immediately called his wife Mary to inform her that their daughter was missing, but Mary seemed to not think much of this and told David that she was probably hanging out with some friends. So David calmed down a little and went out for a smoke. That's
kind of suspicious parenting. It's a sign of bad parenting if you have your kids leaving the house and you're okay with it. Like, without, like, just in the middle of the night, hey, I'm just gonna leave the house. Like, well, what? You suck. You should at least care about it. Like, oh, where'd they go? Like, come on. At least get knowledge of where they're going. It doesn't matter if it happened so many times before. It's like, dude, you never know.
When he noticed that Skylar's bedroom window was wide open, and outside of the house at the bottom of the window was a little stool. David thought to himself that Skylar had just snuck out in the middle of the night and was intending to use the stool to get back inside, so he just left it and went about his day. After about 6 hours, Skylar's family members were surprised to receive a call from Skylar's manager saying that she had not shown up for work. At this point, Skylar's family was beginning to panic. Never once had Skylar ever missed work or even arrived late, so they called the police. When police searched Skylar's room, they noticed that most of her personal items had been left behind, indicating that she did intend to return. Around this time is when Skylar's friend Sheila called the family. She was crying non-stop, saying that Skylar, Rachel, and herself went out last night, and when they were going to return home, Skylar asked to be dropped off at a street corner instead of her house. Sheila claimed that this happened just before midnight, and she has not heard from Skylar since.
Okay,
which, at the time
so
of the
that's
call,
suspicious, because didn't they say that... Well, what is the main character's name? Okay, why am I saying main character? What is the main person's name? Whoever it is, like, didn't they say they got off of work at 12 a.m.? Oh, yep, suspicious.
well,
Well, I already know what's
about
gonna
18
happen.
hours had passed. So obviously, now everyone was beginning to think that Skylar had been kidnapped. Police were able to get their hands on some CCTV footage which shows Skylar running
Why would
towards
she just call immediately? I don't know. I don't know if that's what actually happened.
a three-door car and getting into the back seat. This footage was captured right behind the house.
Ooh.
Sheila said that the vehicle was not hers and that she did not recognize it. Unfortunately, police were not able to track down the vehicle, but they did assume that it belonged to someone that Skylar knew as she voluntarily entered it. To the police, this appeared as though Skylar was a runaway teen. Then on July 11th, there was news that somewhere in North Carolina was a girl who appeared to be Skylar, accompanied by a red-haired girl. Being that she was red-haired, everyone thought that this other girl was Rachel, which just confused more people as Rachel was supposed to be at a church camp. However, Rachel would return home from camp, and during her interview, investigators noticed that she was unnaturally nervous. It was during their questioning that they realized either Rachel or Sheila isn't telling the truth. You see, the police asked Sheila to take them through the path that they took to return home that night. Then they did the same thing with Rachel, and they both gave different stories. It was noted that the girls were in Blacksville around 4 a.m. and Rachel claimed that they were there to smoke. Then Skylar requested that she be dropped off at a friend's to get some other substances. The other girls said okay and dropped her off at Skylar's friend's house. Sheila revealed a similar story, but there was one key difference. Sheila said that Skylar left by herself to her friend's house and they haven't seen her since. The very next day, Sheila retracted the statement and said that she and Rachel did in fact drop Skylar off. The investigation continued.
Oh, wow. You love to see when people slip up, you know? Okay, you know someone's not telling the truth when, guess what? They proceed to change the story. Easy. What's your name? Oh, I don't know. Well, I'm trying to think of the... I don't know. I'm trying to think of a clip where it's like... Oh, never mind, I don't remember.
Police were of the opinion that Sheila and Rachel definitely knew more than they were letting on. But it wasn't like police had any hard evidence to charge them with. So about 5 months after Skylar's disappearance, Rachel began showing signs of instability. Her mental health was rapidly declining and she began lashing out at people for very stupid reasons. She was sent to a psychiatric unit and let out in less than a week. After being let out, she immediately ran to the police and said, "We stabbed her." Investigators asked her to elaborate and Rachel said that she and Sheila filled up a car with cleaning supplies, shovels, and new clothing. The vehicle belonged to Sheila and the two asked Skylar to come hang out and they drove out to Greene County, Pennsylvania. There, the three girls roamed into the woods and jumped Skylar. Both Rachel and Sheila said that on the count of three,
this photo needs to just go away.
They would stab her to death. They pulled out knives that they had hidden in their hoodies and easily overpowered Skylar. But Skylar was able to break Rachel's knife out of her grip and drive it into Rachel's ankle, which
Okay.
caused her to screech and run off. While Rachel retreated, Sheila remained and continued her attack, all while her friend screamed out, "Why?" When the two murderers were sure that Skylar was no longer alive, they tried to bury her, but later settled for leaving her under some leaves and scraps. Then the two
Wow.
just drove off and continued.
No respect at all. Well, obviously, okay, that was a dumb sentence. Like, oh wow, ooh, yeah, murderers have respect for the people they kill. No, okay, that's why they murder them. They don't care. But like, dude, why? I don't actually know why.
With their lives. So surely the two must have had a very good reason for doing something so rash and evil. When investigators asked Rachel why they did it, she simply said, "We just didn't like her anymore." Police were able to
What?
locate Skylar's remains on January 16th, 2013. But one strange thing about the case was, even though Sheila knew that her crimes were revealed, she attempted to avoid reality online. For example, she would upload a photo of the trio with the caption, "Rest easy, Skylar. You'll always be my best friend." Officials struggled
Okay, first off, why I always don't get this. Why on Twitter? Why? Why like? Oh my God, why does Twitter need to know this at all? I don't get it. And second off, wait, so she already? I'm so confused. So she got caught, but she was able to post on Twitter. Like, what? There's no way she got paid the bond or bail, whatever it's called, if there was even one.
at securing a true motive from the duo, but there were a couple of theories. One of which seemed to be that Skylar knew some secrets about Sheila and Rachel, and those two didn't want her to reveal them.
Oh wait, this is the other girl. Okay, never mind. That's the other girl. Okay, but still, I don't get why people post their personal lives on Twitter. It's just like, what? Why? Like, oh yeah, here's my friend. Like, what? As far as I'm aware, Twitter is like basically just perfectly public. I don't know if you can be private. Also, just use Instagram at that point. I don't know.
Skylar's diary also hinted at this possibility. Sheila pled not guilty, but was found guilty and sentenced to life imprisonment. Rachel pled guilty and received a reduced sentence of 30 years. Now, apparently, Rachel actually got married in prison in the women's only facility, and the reason I'm telling you this is because one of those secrets that Skylar possibly held was Rachel and Sheila's romantic relationship.
Okay, what is happening? What? Okay. Uh,
It was
so basically, okay, well, let me just play it out.
speculated that the primary reason that Sheila and Rachel agreed to take their friend's life was because they believed they wouldn't be accepted if they were exposed. However,
Okay. Wow. Okay. Sure. I guess that doesn't justify it, but like, okay, that's better than just saying, "Oh, I don't like you," because, dude, that reason, the whole "I don't like you" thing was like really suspicious. Because you don't just like have a friend be like, "I don't like you anymore." I'm like, murder you. I hate you. It just doesn't happen. Or at least I hope it doesn't. I don't know why I hope. Okay. Yeah, this is weird.
neither one has confirmed this.
Of course I. Oh, okay, stop. Was it just gonna? Oh, I was replaying. That was interesting. Honestly, this is probably one of the more disturb. Out of all the ones with like disturbing in the title, I've watched the videos because I tend to watch a lot of these videos where it's like, oh, disturbing. This one probably was the most disturbing one, just because the photos. God, those photos are brutal, especially when you have like a whole whole 8 minute like lecture about not lecture but like talk about what actually is happening. And you realize, wow, like dude, this was disturbing. I was gonna say disgusting. Like ugh, especially that one photo. Do I dare put my finger over that? Oh yeah, it's right there. Yep, yep. Bye, bye, bye.